G'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another cracking edition of Investing in the US, an Aussie's guide to US real estate. From Los Angeles, I'm your host, Reed Goosens. Good as always to have you with us on the show. Now, as you know, it's my job to explore, dissect, and interview the cream of the crop when it comes to real estate investing, business, and entrepreneurship here in the United States, so you can all make the right investing decision to create massive amounts of cash flow, which will lead to financial freedom and long-term wealth. I constantly say on the show that knowledge is power, but if you don't combine that knowledge with actual action, you'll still be left sitting on the fence and you won't actually achieve your goals. If you do like this show, please give us a review on iTunes and SoundCloud. And you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter by searching Reed Goosens. You can find this show wherever you podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play. But you can also find these episodes up on my YouTube channel. Head over to reedgoosens.com, click on the video link, and it'll take you straight to the recordings. You can see my ugly mug, but you can see the beautiful faces of all my guests. All right, guys, enough out of me. Let's get cracking and into today's show. Today on the show, I had the pleasure of speaking with Sterling White and Jacob Blackett. Sterling started his investing career back at an early age in 2009, doing construction on commercial projects. He purchased his first single-family property at the age of 23 with no money in the deal. Before founding Holdfolio, Sterling and his business partner Jacob were involved in the purchase and selling of over 100 single-family properties nationwide. Jacob, on the other hand, is originally from Reno, Nevada, and Jacob began his real estate investing career also at a young age. And in 2010, as a sophomore at the University of Nevada, Reno, where most of his contemporaries were immersed in college life, Jacob bought and sold his first two residential fix and flip properties in Southern California. Once he made the move to Indianapolis in 2012, Jacob fell under the guidance of his mentor, and over the course of a 3-year partnership, he placed over $40 million in single-family rental properties. But enough out of me. Let's get the guys out here. G'day, guys. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, everyone, to the world's most interesting podcast.
How are you guys? How are you doing today? Where are you dialing in from?
So I am currently in Dayton, Ohio, where one of our offices are, and Sterling's in Indianapolis, right, Sterling?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Beautiful, boys. Beautiful. Well, great, guys. Really glad that you I should say, that you came on the show today. I'm really looking forward to interviewing the two of you. Let's rewind the clock a little bit back to when you first made your first dollar. Can you take us all the way back? Before we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of today's show, I really want to understand your journey, your entrepreneurship journey, and how you've got to where we are today.
Yeah, Jacob, did you want to lead the way on this?
Yeah, I was going to say you have probably a more interesting story than I do, but as far as my first dollar, I'd say my father was an auto mechanic, owned his own shop, small business owner. And so at a very young age, I got in there and started servicing cars and making some money there. And so that would be my first dollar. Sterling, you want to kind of?
Yeah, my first dollar was when I was in early elementary school. I actually was able to build a little business inside of the school, where I would take Kool-Aid and sell them to the kids throughout within passing periods. And then I got it to scale up to where I had other kids selling other Kool-Aid and then coming back to me and kind of giving me all the money. So that's kind of how things built out from that.
How long did that endeavor last for? I'm sure the teachers weren't too happy about selling Kool-Aid around.
No, they weren't. So that's
Ponzi scheme, right?
Yeah. So then I switched to Pokemon cards after that.
Pokemon cards. What was those other Pogs? I think it was. If I don't know how old you guys are, maybe not as old as me, but I remember Pods, which was another those disc things with all the weird reflective. Yeah. But anyway, guys, so talk to me a little bit about your journey. I explained in the introduction that both of you started at a very, very young age. So explain to me from your own individual points of view, what possessed you to change the mind shift and get involved in real estate investing at such a young age?
So for me personally, I studied finance in college, and so it was my sophomore year of college when I really started kind of thinking into real estate, and that's where I got a good ability to kind of weigh the options between finance and real estate, and everything real estate just really resonated with me. And so I think the biggest part of real estate is the reoccurring income streams that you're able to create for yourself. And so that's really what got me so interested into real estate, and has kept me motivated during this journey.
Nice. Yourself, Sterling?
I'd say it really, I stumbled into it when I had a good friend of mine who was a landlord, and he was also doing construction on commercial projects, and kind of just took me under his wing, and we started doing those types of developments. And I saw the money that he was making along with other friends that he had in the business as well. And it just, with where you can go with real estate is just, I mean, sky's the limit on it. So that's what really piqued my interest and changed my mindset to where I was in school. I was like, I really would want to shift from school to do this full time.
Right. It's very, very interesting. So Jacob, tell me about how you purchased your first 2 properties, fix and flip, in Southern California, right, in a very, very hot market. So walk me through that whilst you're also at university. That's a pretty incredible feat. How did you come across the deals? Who introduced you to them? Did you start networking? Did you prospect? And, who helped you with the down payment on 2 properties in Southern California?
So the genesis of those properties came from an infomercial that I saw flipping properties. And so it was late one night, saw the infomercial, free sit-in class one night. And so went to the free class and got sold on a weekend of education that led to a more kind of structured seminar. And so it was through that real estate education that I actually found myself down in Southern California in the inland LA area in Riverside. And so it was through kind of the network through that real estate education that I had met a lot of people, contractors, realtors, and hard money lenders. And so with all, after spending a few months of pretty intense education and meeting the right people, I actually ended up borrowing some money from my grandma for the down payment and rehab needed, and then had a hard money lender to fund the rest of the money needed on those 2 first fix and flips.
How much were you into the deal for on those 2?
So this was back in 2009 and 2010, and we had acquired those for $150,000 and $170,000 respectively. Mm-hmm. And each of those deals were penciled out for $20,000 to $30,000 rehab, with resales in the $250,000 to $260,000 range. Mm-hmm. And so when all was said and done, I think what happened is that the realtor sold me a little bit on resale value. And so what happened, that coupled with the contractor walking out that I was linked up with, all of that made what was supposed to be a 3 to 6 month flip more like a 10 to 12 month flip. And when you're on hard money and you're paying hard money costs, interest every month, and your construction goes over budget, then this was really a whirlwind of jumping in and really learning hands-on. You spend a lot of money on education, but really nothing beats going and buying properties and doing it. And so I learned a ton. I lost just about, I was in the hole just about $70,000, $80,000. And after those first 2 deals, and really it made me take a step back, kind of reformulate my game plan. And within the first 12 months out of college, I was able to make that money back and pay back my grandma. So it was pretty whirlwind for a 18, 19-year-old, as far as taking my bruises, but it was a start. So,
hey man, you're sitting here today, but I've been in the same boat as you. I flipped a few houses back in Philadelphia. My background's in structural engineering. Thought I had it all sorted out, but again, working from I was in LA and the properties were in Philly, and I just moved from New York to LA, and trying to manage that, from a distance, and the fact that we actually added a third story, which was, it was a major construction, wasn't it? But
Wow.
again, in the whole, I think I walked away with like 30 or 40 grand in the whole, nothing crazy, but it was one of those examples where I'm like, I need to get into multifamily, and I'm sure we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Sterling, talk to me about your first deal. I know I mentioned in the introduction that you put, these no money down deals, right? So is it true? I've never seen a no money down deal, but apparently they keep coming up all the time on my Facebook feed. But I think it's a load of BS, to be honest. But you can explain it. You can convince me otherwise.
Yeah, this deal was actually no money in the deal. There was money that I had to put into the marketing in order to acquire the deal. And also I had to invest a significant amount of time to acquire the deal as well. So in that scenario where someone doesn't have the cash, then you have to be willing to put in the time to offset that. And it was through my mentor who I had met at a CrossFit gym, and I was willing to work with that individual for free to learn all his knowledge that he to gain experience from that individual. And he was interesting enough to go from multifamily to single family. And he said, Sterling, I want you to go out there and just find me some deals. So I went out there and acquired, I believe the first deal I got off it was a bandit sign, and found the deal, brought it to my mentor, and I did all the due diligence, underwriting, and then he brought the cash. And then after that, I took care of finding the contractors, managing the construction. So that's kind of how that first deal went from a no money in the deal standpoint.
Was there any profit in the end of the deal?
It was a buy and hold property.
Okay.
So we were all in about 40 to 50,000, and the rent was $850. And there was another property we acquired on the same street that we were all in on the same price as well.
Okay, so you boys, you both got your feet wet. Jacob, you had a bit of a rough start. Sterling, yourself, you sounded like you started some pretty affordable housing, which is where I started back when I first moved to the United States in 2012. Where we are now, walk us through how you've got from that point of getting your feet wet to what you guys are doing today, and maybe talk to us a little bit about where you're investing and the strategy